Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be once again talking about Mike from PA, who has been banned yet again after calling an entire ethnicity demonic. Now, Mike from PA is one of the strongest Hasan Piker orbiters out there, which is basically like saying one of the dumbest idiots. But this is a guy who has a history of very violent rhetoric where he has harassed, threatened, and even put bounties on the heads of other content creators. He has encouraged violence amongst his followers and even encouraged his followers to make citizens arrests of certain people in a very unlawful way. And this is the guy who, you look at him, he's an internet tough guy. He's acting like some big alpha. But this is the guy behind the screen. This is the guy who wants you to shiver in fear for what he might say next. And this time he's finding out, but of course with Twitch's favoritism, how much he's going to find out with this ban, well, we'll have to wait and see. But before we get into the details of what happened most recently, today is the last day to capitalize on my summer drop, at least with the 20% off code. So if you go to the link in the pinned comment and use code REV20 at checkout, you'll save 20% off my latest drop with Advanced GG, which includes 3 new flavor jars with new arts, as well as a line of new clothing, the hat, the tank top, as well as the t-shirt, and we also brought back the ice shaker. So make sure to take advantage of this 20% off code. It ends tomorrow. A lot of people have been using it over the past couple of days, and I appreciate that. But again, use the link in the pinned comment and code REV20 at checkout to save 20% off your entire order. Now, let's talk about Mike from PA. Mike from PA is a Hasan orbiter with a very violent streak in his content creation career. Now, he is someone who is a paper tiger, internet tough guy. Because at the end of the day, this is the dude who is acting tough.
That's fine. I think that's fine. So if a guy pays for my tab,
I think I'm getting your attention.
This is the guy who's trying to act tough, like some big alpha on the internet. A guy who literally recoils into a sentient goofball the second he gets near a woman. But anyways, what's going on here? Well, recently Mike's been trying to clean up his act a little bit, trying to convince everyone he's a normal guy before saying some incredibly unhinged things yesterday. But Mike from PA a few days ago said this: "I love the fact that I'm just a normal guy offline. Makes life very easy." Yeah, first of all, normal guys do not behave the way that this guy does, threatening people, making calls to violence, what have you. Also, normal guys never have to convince you they're normal guys. And also, this implies that offline he's normal. Does that mean that he's not normal online? Wouldn't that make his whole career a joke? He's basically saying that he's not normal online. Okay, interesting. But of course, the hidden replies on this are just golden. So you can see a normal, everyone's posting this screenshot. He hates this screenshot so much. And you can just see people dunking on the normal guy in the hidden replies. And keep in mind, he has to manually hide every single one of those. He sees it, he gets angry, he hides it. It's very obvious. It triggers him quite a bit. But in the replies to that, he also was challenged by this person saying, "Ain't no effing way that's true." Where he says, "You have a child's cartoon as your avatar. The pedophile vibes you put out are off the charts." Projection. Yeah, no normal person makes these heinous allegations against someone for using a cartoon profile picture. I'm sorry, normal people don't see a Carl Weezer profile picture and immediately think of children being abused. This is a self-report. This is projection, but it's not too unexpected at this point. And here's one more from that comment section where someone says, "The normal guy," in quotes, probably means you don't tell people on the street that you want to place a bounty on people's heads that they've never heard of. And he says, "Who did I put a bounty on?" Well, I'm glad you asked. Here's a clip making it very clear that he was putting a bounty on the head of Destiny.
Well, we brought the white.
It's called shock, you fucking idiot. It's called shock. Anything that happens, I mean, like, holy shit, guys. If you live in Florida, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to earn $100,000, let me know.
Yeah, see, they like to hide behind a very thin wall of, let's say, vagueness, where they say a very clear message, but they don't say it entirely directly. so they can have some sort of plausible deniability. We all know what he was doing here. He was trying to put a bounty on Destiny's head. And this is coming from someone like me who doesn't even like Destiny, but you can't go around implying heavily stuff like this. This guy is a walking hypocrite, okay? He is someone who gets exposed all the time for fumbling on his own points. Recently, he came out to defend Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron from the copyright infringement lawsuits that Ethan Klein filed against them, where he's saying Denim's reaction to the content nuke made by Ethan on Hasan Piker was fair use, and that Ethan's trying to clamp down on fair use and transformative content. Meanwhile, this is the same guy that only a few months ago said he was going to file DMCA takedowns on Asmongold if Asmongold continued to react to his public streams and criticize the things he's saying.
Organize raids against other channels. And I just want to say this. I straight up don't consent to any insults, any watching of my content. If you watch any of my content, you don't have a license, I will DMCA you. That is what I'm going to say. Any kind of bad faith interpretations of what I'm saying, any attempt to make me seem to be saying something I don't believe or don't say, is absolutely not allowed. I don't give you any consent to review my content.
So you probably watch all this and you're thinking to yourself, okay, we get it. He's a hypocrite. He's unhinged. What did Mike from PA do this time? Well, like a lot of things, it involves the conflict going on between Israel and Palestine, and I'm surprised he has anything else to say here because, well, Hasan already solved the entire conflict. He made this absolute banger of a tweet in the last 24 hours. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a Nobel Peace Prize yet, where he says one phone call is all it takes to stop Israel's genocide. If Israel doesn't comply, shut off weapons transfers. If Israel looks to get weapons elsewhere, put a sanctions package. And if that fails, invade Israel militarily. Wow, that is foolproof. Generals take notice. World leaders take notice. Hasan Piker just figured everything out. Make one phone call, and if it doesn't work, then have an American military invasion of Israel. He solved it, ladies and gentlemen. What a brilliant mind. Now, this is the clip in particular that we're talking about today. It stems from a long conversation about these related topics, where eventually Mike from PA just goes mask off, and he calls Jews a demonic ethnicity.
Between Arab and Jew. In the days that followed
That's
that,
crazy.
the blessed
Jew is not a fucking ethnic. It is a Jewish is not an ethnicity. This constructed ethnicity, this demonic ethnicity, wholly invented.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the mask has come completely off. I can see a scenario where, like, Hasan grabs this guy by the collar and pulls him in and is like, hey, man, you're supposed to say Zionist, not Jew. You're not supposed to let them know that's actually what we meant. But, like, yeah, people have been saying this for a long time. Like, we all know what they're talking about in a lot of these cases. It's not just Zionists. They're trying to basically use this as a blanket term for not only Jews, but anyone who disagrees with them on anything politically. And this guy just went mask off. Like, imagine anyone else saying a statement like this or similar to this about any other group. They'd be permabanned instantly. If Asmongold came out and said this sentence, he'd be permabanned from Twitch forever. But this guy, they had to wait around for a lot of people to start talking about this before they made a move. And a spoiler alert for the end of this video, sounds like it's not going to be a very long suspension at all. And it's really crazy. They used to pretend like it wasn't about saying these disparaging things about Jews. They kept it to just Zionists, right? Especially when they're referring to people like Ethan Klein. But if you look at the track record here, there are some interesting interactions that happened over the past couple of days that led into this, where Mike from PA was saying it's important that we punish the propagandists who supported this genocide, criminal charges, including the death penalty. And people in the H3H3 production subreddit said, ah, yes, the death penalty for political opposition. Where have I seen this before? And then he quotes that, basically saying all this stuff, saying if you propagandize and incite genocide, it's already a crime in the United States. And the death penalty is a part of that. Well, he has confirmed many times that he believes, in reference to Ethan Klein, he is one of the biggest propagandists for the genocide. So the death penalty is on the table for Mr. Ethan Klein in the world of Mike from PA. And this is something that really shouldn't surprise you. This guy is a dingbat. This guy is illiterate, okay? He Googles what he believes is evidence and supports for you, the viewer, to go out and start making citizens' arrests of people that you believe are supporting a genocide, including people by his own definition would be like Ethan Klein, Asmongold, Dan Saltman, Destiny, all these people.
You are justified in attempting citizen's arrest. This is not my idea, by the way. On war crimes and genocide, everyone has the right to arrest or detain a criminal. And defending genocide is the same thing as doing it. Universal jurisdiction is a legal principle allowing states to prosecute individuals for certain serious crimes such as genocide, war crimes, and crime against humanity, regardless of where the crime occurred or the nationality of the perpetrator or victim. Every single human being in the entire planet has the right to try to effectuate a citizen's arrest under the principle of universal jurisdiction for crimes against humanity. Aiding, advocating, and abetting genocide is a crime. And so therefore, every human being is instantly deputized in the entire world to take means to arrest that person and take them to The Hague.
So obviously, after seeing all of this go down yesterday, a lot of content creators were weighing in, including Asmongold, who has a very vested interest in all of this because these are the people who are constantly attacking him and trying to go after him when they believe he said something out of line. They want him deplatformed. They want him pulled away from any sort of ability to exist on places like Twitch. So he had this to say in the replies to the tweet sharing the clip, saying, "How is calling people of Jewish ethnicity a demonic entity not an instant permaban? What the F is going on? I'm starting to think that maybe Twitch does actually have an anti-Semitism problem at Twitch support." And this would get a lot of attention, and he would get even more attention when he would react to this and would share his notion, his idea that people in his community should start tagging Twitch and sponsors if they're not going to do anything about this.
And anyway, no, I think that we should do that. I do. I think this is over the line. And I think we should get the community together and make sure that every Jewish advocacy group in the world knows that this is happening. And maybe even people at Amazon. And so we can do this maybe on Discord or on Twitter. Why don't we go ahead and get a list together right now of all of the different advocacy groups, and we are going to message all of them and see if we can get something done about this. I do. I think this is insane. This is a crazy, crazy thing to do. Mike made the VOD available to subscribers. It doesn't matter. We have the clip. Everybody has the clip.
Unremitting aggression,
that's it.
Or the blessing of a historic reconciliation between Arab and Jew. In the days that followed
that crazy.
The blessing
Jew is not a fucking ethnic.
Yes.
It is Jewish is not an ethnicity. This construct.
And I think that if Twitch doesn't do something about this, I think that we should just go and open up Twitch on a browser, look at every advertiser that Twitch has, and then send it to every advertiser that Twitch has.
Well, clearly the collective response by Asmongold, his community, and also a lot of people on places like Twitter and Reddit had an impact because eventually the noise got too loud and they would ban Mike from PA. Now, the duration of this ban, who knows, but at least something happened, and that's how pathetic things are. That's how low the bar is. Basically, you have to consider something like this a win, that they would actually ban someone for calling an entire ethnicity demonic. That's how low the bar is, thanks to people like Hasan, Dan Clancy, and all the people who are in the favorites club over at there on Twitch. But Ethan would weigh in because, of course, he would say Mike should be permanently banned. There's absolutely no reason to allow him back. Anything less is scandalous. And you can see, based on the actual language provided on his page, it is a temporary ban. So this is not a permaban. Now, I wouldn't be surprised in a fair system that what he said would be a permaban, especially given his history of violent rhetoric on the platform. At the very least, can we get like 30 days? I don't think we're going to get that. I really don't think we're going to get anywhere near close to 30 days. It's seeming that it's going to be a lot less. Apparently, Ethan Klein shared this. As you can see down here, he's basically saying it's not a long ban. In his server, we see the mention of 2 days. 2 days for what he said would be absolutely wild. And you know, when the people say, like, we got to talk to the sponsors, we got to go after Twitch hard, try to get the ban, you should do the same thing when the ban is inadequate. When he gets a slap on the wrist for something that would be an instant permaban for the wrong people, basically anyone outside the favorite group on Twitch, you should have that same energy based on the punishment. But we'll see what happens there. But the replies to the ban announcement are just hilarious. Oh, that image. He hates this image so much. Yeah, people are very happy to see him go. But yeah, this whole thing, complete mess. Another terrible look for Twitch. And honestly, I believe they only reacted because they got so much backlash in the hours after these clips started to go viral. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.